everyone. I'm Amelia and I'm 5 years old.
Hi, I'm Zosha and I'm 7 years old.
Hey, this is Mommy.
What's up, everyone? I'm Daddy.
And you're listening to
It's movie night. And this week we watched
Dr. Seuss's The Grinch.
This is the newest Grinch adaptation to come out. Universal and Illumination Entertainment put out this animation in 2018. It's rated PG and has a runtime of 1 hour and 26 minutes. Some other movies Illumination put out around this time were Despicable Me 3 and Secret Life of Pets 2.
All right, girls, what would you say this movie's about, Zosha?
About the Grinch not liking Christmas.
That's exactly what it's about. Amelia, could you add anything to that?
and it's about his dog named Max.
Yes, it does have his dog named Max. This movie's about a town called Whoville, where human-like people called Whos are super excited about Christmas. However, the green-furred Grinch who lives in the mountains is not excited about Christmas and will do everything he can to make sure the Whos do not have a good time either.
Some familiar voices in this movie. The Grinch is voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch. He is Dr. Stephen Strange in the MCU, Khan from Star Trek Into Darkness, and he's also the voice of Smaug the dragon from The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Cindy Lou Who is voiced by Cameron Seeley. We know her from a movie we watch a lot, girl. She is Helen Barnum in The Greatest Showman.
Okay.
Donna Who, Cindy Lou's mom, is voiced by Rashida Jones. She's Alva from Klaus, Marcy in Spies in Disguise, or parents, you will know her as Zoe from I Love You, Man. Mr. Bricklebaum has a very recognizable voice. He is Kenan Thompson. Parents, if you grew up in the 90s, you know this voice. He is Dexter Reed from Good Burger, Tiny Diamond in the Trolls franchise, and currently he is in the cast of Saturday Night Live and has been there since 2003. Some other cast members we want to show some love to is the late Angela Lansbury, who was Mayor McGurkle in this. Amelia, whose voice is that?
Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast.
Perfect. Yes, it is.
The narrator was Pharrell Williams. He has a few minor acting credits, however, he's mostly known as a producer and music artist. You've probably heard him in collaborations and songs like Blurred Lines, Get Lucky, or Drop It Like It's Hot. Or you heard his song Happy from Despicable Me 2. There is two directors for this movie. One of them is Yarrow Cheney. This is the only film that he's directed, however, he has worked on production departments for Treasure Planet, The Lorax, and Curious George. And the other director is Scott Mosier, who also directed Freebirds. So we're going to talk about this movie now. This is the first time that I've watched this movie. Like you said, it came out in 2018, Mommy. This is the first time that we sat down and watched this as a family, so it's the first time that I'm actually watching it. And I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. Do you remember the first time you watched this, Mommy? Did you watch it with the girls?
This is not the first time I've watched it. This is the first time I've watched it in its entirety, but I have seen this movie in pieces. I want to say the first time I saw it was about 3 years ago. Zosha had to have been around 4 years old. We got it on Vudu, and we just started watching it, and it kind of stuck. What do you think, Zosha?
Yes, fantastic. And I even put that for my All About Me poster.
Oh, last year for first grade, right?
Yeah,
What'd you say about it?
that is my favorite movie.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I printed out the little movie poster to put on there for her.
Very nice. How about you, Amelia? Did you like this movie the first time you saw it, or is this the first time you saw it?
No, I saw it before.
Oh, okay, so you like this movie then.
Yes.
There is a lot to like about the movie. We always talk about lessons in movies, and this is one of them that I really liked because the Grinch in this movie is very different from the Grinches that we've seen in other adaptations. So this Grinch walks into town, he goes shopping, and nobody bats an eye that he's a different color from everybody else. They just accept it, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, nobody's scared of him. Nobody's like, oh, the Grinch is coming, because I feel like in the Jim Carrey version, when he first appears in town, everyone's like terrified of him.
Yeah. Another lesson worth mentioning is that you see the Grinch and how he doesn't like Christmas. And we've seen that in every adaptation of this story. But a lesson to take away from it is that we should not make everybody else dislike something just because we dislike something. You know, he does a holiday, so we're going to stick to a holiday. Zosha, what's your least favorite holiday? What holiday do you not like?
Halloween.
So you don't like Halloween, but would you ever be like the Grinch and make sure nobody else could celebrate Halloween just because you didn't like it?
Nah.
Nah, that's not very nice. What about you, Amelia? What's your least favorite holiday?
Halloween.
What do you not like about Halloween?
Because I feel like someone's going to steal me and Zosha.
Oh my goodness, and why would they steal you?
Because they're strangers.
Ah, because we walk up to strangers' houses to get candy.
That checks out. That makes sense.
It's one of those things that as a parent, you're like, why are we undoing everything we teach our children?
Yeah.
Like, we tell them, don't go up to people's houses and this, that, and the other, but today it's okay. Like, no. Do you have a least favorite holiday, Daddy?
4th of July.
Yeah, just the noise.
Yeah, I guess if I could be the Grinch and take all the fireworks away from everybody, I probably would. So I would need someone to teach me, like, okay, this is okay. The problem is that where we live, people blow off fireworks 3 days beforehand, 2 days beforehand, the day before, and then 3 days after. And it's just so annoying. Like, I get it. Do it for the 4th of July. You don't need to do it days before and then days after as well. It's just super annoying, and I don't like it.
It is just the 4th of July, not the 1st through 7th.
Yeah, exactly. How about you? Do you have a least favorite holiday?
So normally I'd say Halloween because I'm not about the scary bits or anything like that. But just so we have a little bit of a difference, a holiday I never understood was St. Patrick's Day, other than the fact that I get to have, corned beef and cabbage. But I could do that any day of the week.
Yeah.
It just feels like an excuse for everybody to get a little bit too into the spirits, if you will.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a slightly unsafe holiday to have.
I can see that, yeah, for sure. So aside from the lessons, some of the positives that we like about this movie, let's talk about the animation style. Girls, does this movie look like any other movies?
It looks like Secret Life of Pets and Sing 2 and Despicable Me.
Yeah, so this movie has a very familiar style for children. Like Zosha had said, all these movies that kids have kind of grown up with at this point, this movie looks very similar. Even like the Lorax, like it all looks the same. So I think kids are really going to like this because it's familiar to them.
It's vibrant. It's colorful.
Yes. And in that realm, this is also a different kind of Whoville. Most of the Whovilles we've seen have been more whimsical, and this is kind of dulled down, I would say. I don't know what you think about that.
I'd say, yes, the buildings are a little bit more practical. It almost looks like a steep town on a hill, like if you were to go into like the Alps of Switzerland and stuff. It's very mountain-like. Do they still have some of their Whoish contraptions, if you will? But it's definitely more based in reality, other than having a furry Grinch neighbor. And speaking of the neighborhood Grinch, was that anybody's favorite character?
Mine.
Ooh, what do you like about the Grinch?
Because the Grinch is green like my favorite color.
Okay, that's enough reason right there. Is anything else? Does he make you laugh? Does he make you mad? Is he too grumpy?
No, he's not that bad.
So speaking of the Grinch, this Grinch is not like the Grinch we've seen in other movies.
Correct. Like in the 60s Grinch as well as the Jim Carrey Grinch, I feel like he goes out of his way to be mean to other people and to Max. Like slight animal cruelty going on in some of those movies. Whereas
not slight sometimes. It is animal cruelty.
But in this movie, you could tell that he cares about Max and he's grumpy, but he's not mean. Like he'll go into the town to get his groceries without knocking somebody's sundae over. You know what I mean? Like the equivalent to that. He's not looking to go the extra mile.
He does do stuff like that though, because like one of the kids says, "Hey, can you help me with the nose on this snowman?" And he just pushes the snowman's head right over. So he does do those things, but I don't know. He's just he's not the mean one that they're talking about in the song.
True, because now that I'm thinking about it, there's that scene where he takes the jelly and puts it purposely out of the way of the one woman trying to reach it. So it's like, it is rude, but he doesn't say anything. He's just like, non-verbal meanness.
Yeah, he's just not as mean as he is in other adaptations. And some people could see that as a negative, actually, because they're going into this movie expecting the mean one. They're expecting this Grinch that's going to be so cruel to everybody, and you're just not going to get that in this movie. So sorry, guys.
No, he's more the misunderstood feelings Grinch than anything else, because the song does not fit this character, that's for sure.
Absolutely, that's a good way of putting it. Did anyone have a different favorite character?
I like Max.
Oh, why do you like Max?
Because he's cute and fuzzy.
He is cute, and Amelia is a big fan of anything cute in a movie.
And his puppy face is what he taught Fred.
Yes, he does teach Fred the puppy face.
Yeah, puppy dog eyes. What is that scene? What is Fred using puppy dog eyes for?
To sleep in the Grinch's bed.
Yes, they want to sleep in the Grinch's bed. And like we had said earlier, this Grinch is not as mean as the other Grinches. So he ultimately does let Max and Fred, which we'll talk about Fred in a second, But he does let Max and Fred sleep in his bed, and it's a very nice scene.
They just pile on in.
Is Fred your favorite character, Mommy?
I love him. I do enjoy him. There's so many twists of Fred that you wouldn't think about for a character who doesn't speak.
And what is Fred?
Fred's a reindeer.
Yes, Fred's a reindeer. And is he a small reindeer, Amelia?
No, he's a chubby reindeer.
He is. He's such a big, cute, chubby reindeer. I love him. He is the only reindeer that they find on their quest to find someone to pull the sleigh.
Yeah.
And he is just this gigantic, peaceful beast. And he's just so funny. And then later on in the movie, we find out that Fred has a family, too. So Fred's a dad and a husband, and it's just so sweet.
It is so sweet.
But then at the same time, you think, where does his family think he is for the couple days that he's, like, chilling with the Grinch and making his coffee and hanging out with Max? Like, he's fun. Who was your favorite?
Fred's my favorite as well.
Yeah?
I love Fred. I love the scene where Max wakes up because it's his normal routine to make the Grinch his morning coffee every day. And there was this weird contraption that he's got to step on where he has to go up these tiny steps and then his weight will trigger the mechanisms to make coffee. And it ultimately presses the coffee into his mug every morning. And when he wakes up, Fred is doing it. And like we had stated already, Fred is massive.
Yes, and then adding on to that, I think it's even funnier when the Grinch is like, this is the best cup of coffee I've ever had. And Max is like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I guess all the other days that I did it the same exact way weren't as good.
Who am I guess?
So that is not my favorite scene, but I would like to know what everyone's favorite scene is. Amelia, you look like you're ready to go. What is your favorite scene from this movie?
I like when the Grinch blows the horn, and then a goat comes, and then he says, I'm looking for a reindeer, not a goat. And then he walks, and then the goat walks with him. And then when they saw the reindeer, he made the funny noise, and then all of the reindeers ran away, but only Fred was there.
Yes, and what is the funny noise that he makes?
He screams really loud.
That's my favorite scene, too. I love when the goat screams.
How about you, Mommy? What was your favorite part?
I absolutely love is the very beginning of the movie. It's probably within the first 10 minutes when the Grinch realizes that he's out of food. And he goes, there's no way I specifically remember getting enough food to last me till January. Max, how much emotional eating have I been doing? And then it cuts to him like double forking spaghetti and meatballs into his mouth, and then like, oh my goodness, it's just so funny, like the peek into stress eating that I think most of us can relate with.
Even the cake.
Yes, he does eat a cake too. Did you have a favorite part, Daddy?
Yeah, so I really like the scene where the Grinch is trying to get on top of Bricklebaum's house to steal his sleigh so that way he can continue his antics for Christmas Day. And he's got to avoid Mabel, Bricklebaum's dog. And Mabel is chasing him up this entire house trying to catch the Grinch. So somebody accidentally rings the doorbell and Bricklebaum comes to the door and Mabel's underneath all this snow. And Bricklebaum's like, hey, who taught Mabel how to use the doorbell? He's just so innocent or just so oblivious to what's going on. So he brings Mabel into the house and Mabel has this plate of cake and it zooms right up to Bricklebaum and he's like, oh my gosh, she's serving cake now? This is the best day ever.
This is the best Christmas ever. Yeah, he's just so overly joyous and it's intoxicating. He's such a happy character.
I wish I had his positivity. Bricklebaum is pretty cool. I'd say he's a runner-up for favorite character for sure.
He even says, I don't know what's inside this cake, but I think I just saw Santa Claus.
Yes, because the Grinch is dressed as Santa outside.
Yeah.
I think he ends up like swinging from lights or something like that he's tied up in. It's such a fun scene.
He's like, somebody give me another piece of this cake.
So clearly there are a lot of parts to this movie that are positive, that emit a lot of laughter. But are there things about this movie that you'd say are negative, Daddy?
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about the fact that the Grinch is not exactly the mean one that we've come to know throughout the years. So that's one of them. And then the other one that I really didn't like is the Grinch theme song. It's done by Tyler, the Creator. So I'm like, oh man, I love hip hop. This is going to be something that I really like. And it is a modern take, He changes the words to the song. It's not that very catchy tune that we're used to. It was just, I just was not a big fan of it. Even the score for this movie is done by Danny Elfman, and it's recognizable at times that it's Danny Elfman, but at the same time, you're like, he didn't put his own spin on this. He didn't make it his own. I just didn't really care for the music.
I agree with the song. I feel like hip-hop vibes, more than welcome. I like that they incorporate hip-hop. Like, I think Run DMC plays to the background in the movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs, like classic Christmas songs that are on the soundtrack. But as far as the made for this movie music, like Tyler, the Creator did and Danny Elfman did, just wasn't impressed at all.
No, I enjoy the original Grinch song as well. It's very theatrical and loud, and this is just very monotone.
Yeah.
It's not as fun to sing.
Yeah, definitely not one that I'm going to be adding to the Christmas playlist.
One other thing that I kind of view as a negative is for a movie that's an hour and 26 minutes, I wouldn't have minded a couple more minutes added to this film to give me some more Grinch backstory. We get a very fast flashback as to why the Grinch does not like Christmas. But I will say that the Jim Carrey Grinch is not my favorite, but I do enjoy that they show that backstory and that people knew him in the town as a kid, and they're like, oh yeah, that is the Grinch. They do know where he came from. This movie, people know he exists. They know he's there. Again, nothing crazy. We don't need to add 30 minutes onto this movie, but a nice little bit more blip would have been good.
I could agree with that for sure. Now, is there any parental guidance you want the parents to know?
Honestly, there's not much for this movie. The language is clean, violence is all comedic, so it's like getting caught in a trap and crashing into a window, sliding out of trees, things like that. Nothing vicious. There is nothing scary. Grown-up stuff, there is a scene where one of Cindy's friends gets his clothes torn off while setting the Santa trap. But again, it's played comedically, and he uses a cookie to cover himself. Cry factor, there are heartfelt moments between Cindy and her mom, as well as the Grinch's speech at the end, but we made it through this film without any tears.
Yes, and then with that, as an age recommendation, I'm going to say no age recommendation. Show your kids as early as you'd like because they're probably going to enjoy this one.
Yes, it's a great movie to put on when you're, you got to get your cooking done on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day and get all those extra things done before the family comes over. This is something that your kid will thoroughly be entertained by while you don't feel as bad ignoring them for those couple hours.
So Rotten Tomato critics give this movie a 59%, which is a thumbs middle. Audiences give it a 51%, which is also a thumbs middle. Let's see how it holds up in our house. Zosha, do you give The Grinch a thumbs up, a thumbs middle, or a thumbs down?
1009 thumbs up.
We're getting even more exact, 1009. What about you, Amelia?
12 thumbs up.
12 thumbs up? Okay, how about you, Mommy?
I'm going to give this movie a thumbs up. I like that literally any age can watch it. I like that it teaches a good lesson and that he's not too grouchy. What about you, Daddy?
I'm going to give this movie a thumbs middle, but it's tilting up. It wants to go there. It's teetering a little bit on that thumbs up. So now we have seen all the Grinch movies. So I want to know, Zosha, is this your favorite Grinch movie?
Yes.
All right. Amelia, how about you?
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Mommy?
I'm still going to go for the 1960s version. I will always remember popping that VHS in, and it's definitely faster. I think that one's only 30 minutes, but it's still my go-to.
Okay.
It's a very, very fine line, though. I'd say it's a coin toss with this version.
All right.
What about you?
This is my favorite Grinch now. We've discussed this in the past week or so with our friends Adam and Emily, and I was fully supportive of the 60s Grinch. This one just pulls on the heartstrings a little bit more than the other one, and it's a better Grinch. I don't like that the Grinch is so mean in the other ones, and he's mean to Max, and he's just mean to everybody. So this one, I think, is the superior Grinch film.
Yeah, but there's no denying that the 1960s Grinch has the superior eyebrows. He's got some mad Zosha eyebrows.
It does have the superior Grinch song as well. Like,
yes.
That one is on a playlist for Christmas every year.
Even the trim up the tree and the... Yeah. Like,
good soundtrack.
Slaps.
And if any of you would like to add Dr. Seuss's The Grinch to your movie night list, it is currently streaming on Fubo and Peacock or available across platforms.
And after watching, let us know if you give it thumbs up, thumbs middle, or thumbs down.
And when you want to let us know what you think about the movie, please find us on social media. We like to post pictures of us on our movie nights, letting you know what snacks and sweets we're eating. We post a dad joke as well as a sneak peek clip themed to the episode coming out that week. It's a fun place to hang out.
Our Facebook is It's Movie Night, and our Instagram is It's Movie Night Pod.
Thank you for listening.
Join us next week for another movie night.
Happy Christmas.